Sometimes my tries are outside the line. Yeah, yeah. We've been conditioned to not make mistakes, but I can't live that way. No. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten.
Hello, Sonder fam. Welcome to our October monthly setup on the very last day of September. For those of you who don't know, my name is Bailey Grady, and I will be your facilitator for this evening. I am dialing in just north of Nashville, Tennessee, in a place called Hendersonville. And thankfully, we were not really impacted by the hurricane here, but I know that that is not the case for many of our neighbors and loved ones off to the east, over in East Tennessee and North Carolina. So if you have people in that area, if that's you and somehow you have power and you're here tonight, please know that we're thinking of you, and it is just like a crazy situation out there. We know help is on the way, but it never seems to get there fast enough. So we're thinking of all of you and all of your loved ones if you have anybody out in those areas for sure. But I'm going to be your facilitator for this evening. No issues here in the Nashville area. We had some considerable flooding here about 14 years ago now. No, yes, wow, can't believe it's been that long. But no flooding this time here. So I am able to be here with you all this evening, which is great because this is one of my favorite places to be, is hanging out with all of you, because we have just the most amazing community around. And I saw that we have some first time social attendees here. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited for you. These are a great place to just get kind of new ideas and tips and tricks. I think I had been a subscriber for about a year before I came to my first social, and I had no idea that we had this huge community. Like, I had not really found any of the groups or anything like that. And it was just the best time. And so I hope that you have the best time here tonight, getting to connect with other members of the Sonder fam and also getting some new ideas. And then I also see lots of familiar names in the chat. Welcome back. You all are exactly why this community is so awesome and why we love to spend our time with you all. week after week is because seriously, you're just like the best people around. And it's so nice to have this time to be in community with one another. So the way that you will be able to interact with each other tonight, for those of you who may not know, is just through the chat. You do not have to worry about if your camera is on or if you're muted or not. You can come in all of your cozy, comfy clothes and just hang out and not have to wonder about if any of that stuff is on or if we can hear, your dog howling in the background or kids making noise, because we can't hear any of that. So no worries. You will be able to type in the chat and share with fellow members. In order to do that, you'll just want to make sure that that little blue box near where you type in the chat on Zoom is set to everyone. A lot of the times it'll default to like host and panelists. And if it's host and panelists, then not everyone will be able to see what you have to share. And we want you to be able to have that time in community if that is what you want. So definitely be sure that you set that chat to everyone if you would like to share. As we go through the content this evening, you're going to see lots of examples and things up on the screen. If there is anything that you really love that you want to reference back, we're going to share a link at the end of the social where the recording of this social will be posted in a few days along with our other socials. But please feel free to take screenshots or snap photos of anything that you see that you want to refer back to while we're moving through as well. That is totally fine with us. And once you have your journal set up, if you feel comfortable taking photos, we would love to see your examples in Sonder Club, or you can tag us on Instagram and TikTok at Silk and Sonder. So before we dive in, we'll go ahead and go over our community guidelines here. So first and foremost, please be kind and courteous to yourself and to others. No promotions or spam, please. Respect everyone's privacy. No hate speech or bullying. Limit repetitive product and accessory questions. We don't mind some chatter around like pens and stickers and things like that, especially like in the monthly setup, because a lot of the times we're using a lot of those things, but we do want to make sure that you have enough time to focus on what you need to while you're here. We do get an extra 15 minutes at the monthly setup, so we have a little bit more time together than we usually do. Most of our socials are about an hour, but it still goes by so fast. And then anything that myself or the amazing Jennifer O, who is helping out in the chat tonight, anything that she or I cannot answer for you, we will redirect you over to the team over at headquarters. We don't have access to like subscription info or shipping stuff. So anything that she or I can't help with, we will direct you over to them for further assistance. And then finally, Sonder Socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community, but you are responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So in a nutshell, what that means is come here, show up, but take what you need. If you need to just jam out to some instrumental music and hang out in the chat and spend time in that community, we love that. If you need to ignore the chat completely and you just need to focus on you and your journal, we want you to do that. You can do a little bit of both, or you can even do neither. We have some folks that come and they just kind of like jot down ideas and they kind of hang out in the background, and then the next day after they have time to kind of let it all marinate is when they actually will set up their journal. So no matter what it is you need from this evening, we want you to be using that time for you and participating at whatever your comfort is. So we are going to do our opening activity to welcome in our new theme for the month of October. And then we're going to do our September reflections. So kind of thinking back on September before we move into October. And then we'll get ready for October. We'll set up those intentions, we'll get our mood tracker ready, and we'll set up that habit tracker so that you will be ready for that month ahead. I cannot believe that tomorrow is October 1st. It is really flying by. So our new theme this month is opportunity, October opportunity. I love that alliteration. And for those of you who have attended a social with me in the last month or so, you probably know that this theme is definitely a little ironic for me. My husband was recently laid off from his job in September, and so he's definitely on the job hunt. So I am hoping that the theme for this month definitely holds true for us and brings lots of opportunity ahead. But if you haven't already, I always recommend starting on page 2 with Mayha's opening letter for the month because she does such a great job kind of welcoming in our new theme. And especially this time around, I found lots of really good things to highlight in her opening letter. So one of the first things she says is that October kind of creates this space for deep reflection, planning, and hope. She also says that opportunity is one of the few things that can arise from challenges and wins alike. And that, opportunities are often plentiful, but we have to kind of make it a point to notice them. And I think that goes hand in hand with her other point, which is that opportunity doesn't have to be so big. And that's something that I really want you all to hear and maybe focus a little bit on, no matter what your vision for this next month is that opportunity, when we hear that word, I think a lot of the times we do think about something that's big, right? Like it's a career change, it's a change in life season, right? Maybe you're talking about expanding family, or maybe it's an empty nest, or maybe you're moving into retirement, maybe you're switching jobs, or maybe you're looking at like a big move, right? Or maybe it's something to do with education. Opportunity is often something we hear associated with those big life goals and life changes. But really, opportunity is in the small things. And a lot of the times, it's when we focus in on those small opportunities that we're able to really build consistency that leads to meaningful habits and things that make us in a healthier place to really tackle and accept those potential big opportunities when they do come around, right? Like when we're able to take the opportunity of a rainy day to stay inside and journal, or we're able to take the opportunity of a nice day to get outside and be in nature, or whatever your goals may be, you're setting up that habit of building mindfulness with yourself and taking that opportunity to really connect with you. And no matter what your goals are or what you're working on, taking an opportunity to learn more about yourself is always going to be beneficial. She also says that she'd like us to kind of reflect on opportunities in the past that may have shaped us, and to also think about what opportunities might exist today. And she also invites us to share our life buds with her in Sonder Club, which, for those of you who may not know, a bud is an opportunity. It's something around the horizon. Maybe it's something you're excited about, or something you're a little nervous about, or maybe both. So I have lots of really fun quotes here about opportunity. Maybe one of them will speak to you in particular. I really like the one from Mark Cuban here in the top center, where it says, wherever there is change and wherever there is uncertainty, there is opportunity, because that obviously speaks to kind of what's going on in my life and my household right now. But I also love this, your potential to succeed is infinite, because I think that sometimes we stop ourselves before we get started on things. I know I do that 100%. I will be the first person to talk myself out of something because I think it's going to be too hard. I don't think I can handle it. I'm not ready. I'm not good enough, right? Whatever that sort of inner monologue is that keeps you from just doing the thing. I think that this month could be a really great invitation to all of us to think about all the things we've already done, because I know that all of us have done things that we never thought we would do or be able to handle or tackle in life. And so sometimes we just need to kind of release those self-limiting beliefs and embrace opportunity and, believe the truth, which is that we're all capable of anything. So I also like, today is your opportunity to build the tomorrow that you want. And every accomplishment starts with a decision to try. So, but whether any of those quotes resonate with you or not, I hope that you are feeling open to the new exploration that this theme may bring us this month. And I hope that you have some incredible opportunities, big and small, on the horizon. So without further ado, we're going to officially welcome in our theme with our new favorite opening activity for our monthlies, which is the acrostic poem. So with an acrostic poem, I'm going to hop back to these instructions in a second, but I think it'll make more sense if you see this first. What you're going to do is flip to a blank page or space in your journal, and then you will write out the word onto the page, and you're basically going to create a poem on each one of these lines. That's the typical way of doing this, but there are some other options too, and I'll get to that in a second. So you can write that word down the page just like I showed you, and you can just start thinking at it one letter at a time, right? what is O? What do I want to start my first line of O to be? Or you can brainstorm first and think about different words and things that remind you of opportunity, or journal a little bit about opportunity or what you want out of this month, and see if any of those words that come up in your brainstorm will also align with these letters. Or some people will just write out their poem and then they will find the letters within the words and just circle them. So there's no right or wrong way to doing this. The whole point is to just take the opportunity, unintended, to try and just go for it, right? I think that what we found now that we've been doing these acrostic poems for several months is that people are really surprised by what they're able to come up with. And usually you have the most trouble when you put too much pressure on yourself. So don't feel pressured. Just have fun, let go. It's just a fun way to welcome in this new theme. And with that said, there are some beautiful acrostic poems here as examples, and I'll flip through all of these as you're working on yours for inspiration. But if writing an actual poem feels a little too intimidating for you, don't focus on it. Just think about words that start with O or P, or as you go down, if like you're drawing a blank because that is too broad, then maybe you can pick a theme. I decided to do a poem in the center and then do one where I just thought of random words. But then this one on the left, I actually decided to think about colors that started with these different letters. And I think that poetry is one of those beautiful things that, like, somehow, even when it's nonsense, or even when it seems like it's nonsense, it definitely evokes a feeling. And so even this random list of colors, like, really evoked a feeling in me. And so don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just give it a try. You never know what you're going to come up with. We also have these amazing examples from Sonder Club. I absolutely love these. They're so beautiful, and I always love seeing what you all come up with. So I'll be sure to cycle through all of these for you while putting on some music. Definitely share with us in the chat how your poem is going. If you're stuck on a certain letter, maybe we can help you think of something. And yeah, feel free to share if you'd like, and then we'll move into our next activity together. Thank you all for spending some time to welcome in opportunity. If you're still working on your poem, don't panic. You may find that like the perfect word or the perfect phrase or line comes to you as we move through. Definitely don't be afraid to continue sharing. But we are going to go ahead and get into our beautiful October journals. And first, we're going to start with our reflections on September. So you're going to want to open your journal to page 8. And if you're newer and your journal hasn't come in yet, and you're still waiting on it, don't worry. Just feel free to grab something to take notes on, jot things down, and then whenever that journal comes in, you'll be ready. But for those of you who do have your journals, go ahead and flip over to page 8 so we can start looking at those September reflections and thinking about our wins this month, our challenges, what some of our favorite moments were, and if there's anything that we want to start, stop, and continue as we move into October. So my reflection page is up there on the screen, and I did a little something different with my start, stop, and continue this month, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But focusing in on the top part of the page here, a win is going to be something you did, something that made you smile, maybe a happy moment, maybe a goal, right, that you reached, or maybe a goal you made some progress in. And again, it could be little things, big and small, all of it is a win if you let it be. A challenge is going to be something that didn't go right, maybe something that was hard. It could be a struggle, a stumbling block, a frustration. And then some tips if you have been a long time Sonder person, then you probably are familiar with our rosebuds and thorns. Those are in the journal on a weekly basis, and they kind of give you an opportunity to reflect each week. So if you do those pages on a regular basis, you can flip back through those and kind of have a refresher about some of those, wins and challenges and favorite moments. And then I always have to go back through my phone. I always have to go and look at my calendar appointments. I have to flip back through my journal. I have to look at my pictures because I have some weeks where I could not even tell you what I had for breakfast, let alone what I did a week ago or 3 weeks ago. So it really helps me to go back through and kind of refresh my memory of, oh yeah, it was so-and-so's birthday and like we did a whole thing and I totally forgot, right? And then if you are using the start, stop, and continue section as intended, you want to think about the start as things that, you want to start doing. Maybe it's forming a new habit. Maybe it's something you want to start paying attention to instead of ignoring. You want to put some focus on there. And then stop is going to be things that you don't want to focus your time and energy on any longer. Sometimes this is like negative self-talk. So kind of what we talked about at the beginning of sometimes we get in our own way when we're talking about opportunities. Sometimes that limit comes from us first. So maybe you want to stop limiting yourself this month and then continue. Things that are going well, things that are helping you, things that are working in your life. Those are things you're going to want to continue to invite into the next month. So, but what I did is I used this little formula here of I fill X and Y because of A or B, and I want to feel Z. So this is how I decided to do mine this month, and I'll flip back so you can see it again, but I found this to be really helpful. I have had this example here of this little formula for a couple of months, but this is the first time I actually did it. And I don't know if it's because I'm in such a season of change right now, or and so it's just what I needed for this month, or if I actually needed it all along. And this is just the first month that I felt invited to give it a go. But if the start, stop, and continue isn't speaking to you, then maybe you want to try this formula instead. There's also some examples of what negative thinking traps can look like if you need some reminders of some things you might need to stop doing this month. Along with, I can't speak today, along with some great examples from the Sonder fam. I love this one on the bottom left where they actually write out their what, their why, and their how. We know that studies show us that when you set out a goal or an intention, that writing out your why with it can help you stick to it. So yeah, I will put on some music for you so you can think about your September and kind of give it the proper reflection and goodbye it needs, even if it was a tough month, right? Sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I'm glad it's over and I'm so excited for the next month. It was still a whole month that we had. And so it kind of deserves that moment of reflection. So we're going to give it that, and then we'll get started with October and all the exciting things ahead. Let us know in the chat what you're writing down. A lot of the times we are struggling with the same challenges and we're celebrating the same wins. And so it's always fun to do that in community with each other. Okay, so now that we have given September its reflection time, and if you're still working, again, that is okay. Don't worry, don't panic, keep working. We are now going to officially flip on over to page 9 so that we can start thinking about October and our intentions. Now, before we dive in, two things. One, this is your journal. It is not anybody else's journal. Jennifer and I are here to facilitate and help and give ideas and tips and tricks, as are all of you. But there's no right or wrong way to do this. Neither she or I are going to show up at your house and knock on your door and ask to see your journal and give it a grade. Rest assured, if Jennifer or myself ever show up at your house, we are bringing stickers, we are bringing pens, we are bringing treats, and we are all going to dive in together and get as creative as possible. We are never going to be there to try to say, ooh, you should have done this page this way, or you should have done that. Quite the opposite. We love to see when you make these journals work for you. And sometimes that means changing pages, sometimes it means changing categories, sometimes it means doing things that we would have never thought to even do with the journal. So that's number one. Number two, as it actually says at the very top of this page, it says setting intentions is not making a to-do list. It's asking something of yourself and then giving yourself the strength to do it. This should not feel like another should. It shouldn't feel like another I must. It shouldn't feel like another I have to. This is you checking in with you and asking yourself where your focus needs to be this month. That's all it is. And you get to decide exactly what that looks like. So there are some categories pre-printed in the journal there. We have spiritual health, personal life, physical health, key relationships, money management, and professional goals. But if one of those doesn't make sense to you, you're like, I don't really understand the difference between this and this, or I don't really feel like this matters, or this doesn't really fit in my life, change it. Don't overthink it. Don't try to make it fit. Just change it or just skip it and put fun stickers there, do doodles, leave it as a little space for you to write yourself a little like note of encouragement, whatever it is that you need it to be. So no matter what you decide to use these categories for, here are some ideas about how to approach them. You can decide to lean into our new theme of opportunity if you want to set these intentions. I know I have already seen some examples in Sonder Club of people saying, I want to take the opportunity to ... in these different sections. You could focus on a different area, such as self-love or self-talk, maybe what is front of mind for you as we start to move into the heart of the Burr months, if you will, and pretty soon daylight savings will come back around and we'll have a lot more dark. And if you're somebody that is affected by lack of sunlight, maybe you need to focus completely on mental health this month, right? And think about how to set yourself up and be in a good place for that. You can decide to have some fun with this and think about the name of a song or lyrics that inspire you or remind you of your goals in these sections. You could do the same thing with quotes if you like. You can write how you want to feel this month in each area, thinking back to that formula of that start, stop, and continue. You could do that here as well. And you can use stickers, colors, images, or just a nice and simple, easy pen, whatever works best for you. You could also consider one thing you want to let go of and one thing you want to start doing in each section. And here are some suggestions of different things that we have seen people change these categories to. So we see a lot of people change spiritual health to mental health. We've also seen connection, community. We've got lots of folks who like professional goals are not really a thing for them anymore because either they're retired or they've reached a point in their career where, you know, it's not a forefront of focus for them, or they just want to leave work at work and this journal is just for them outside of work. So they do learning goals, creative goals, gardening goals, vacation goals. Again, feel free to change these in whatever way makes sense to you. And our fellow facilitator, Maya, who helps to create these amazing slides for us each month, likes to now include these like national X, Y, and Z month things on there. So October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Make sure that you're doing your checks, ladies. It's National Women's Small Business Month, something to keep in mind as we are headed, you know, into the holiday season, if you can believe it. It's right around the corner. Maybe you want to shop small this year and make a short list of women's businesses that you can support. It is National World Mental Health Month, and it's also National Chili Month, which I am already celebrating because I've already made a batch of chili a few nights ago, and I'm actually going to pop the recipe into the chat for any of you that are interested. It's a buffalo chicken chili, and it's really easy to like customize it. Like if you're a vegetarian, you could put tofu in there. I'm sure that there's probably a fairly easy way to make it vegan as well. So if you're looking for something a little different, that's always my go-to when I'm ready for chili, but I don't want classic chili. So feel free to make it. Let me know what you think. We have some amazing examples here from the Sonder fam. So all of these are kind of more image geared, which I love. I've done this before, and it can be a really fun way to tackle your intentions, especially if you are having trouble like pinpointing exactly what it is you want to write down. Sometimes an image is better than words. So you've got the actual images that kind of just go with each category. You've got an all-out collage that looks like a vision board, and then you've got a little bit of combination over there on the right. You can focus on what you want to be or what you want to invite in this month with these intentions. I like this cute little prediction slash manifestations of what you think might be on the horizon. And this person decided to just eliminate the categories completely. So they just thought about 6 things that are on the horizon. So maybe you want to think about 6 opportunities that are on the horizon for this month. I love this super cute Halloweeny more and less example. I love it. We're getting straight into that spooky season. I also know a lot of you love to use this envelope method where you think of a thing you want to focus on for this area and then write 3 things that are going to kind of support that in that envelope format. And, don't overcomplicate it. There's nothing wrong with some nice clean bullet points either. And as always, and as I said earlier, this is your journal. So if you don't need 6 intentions, then don't use 6. Fill out whichever ones make sense for you. You can see the person on the left only did 3, the person on the right only did 4, and I absolutely adore these little froggy stickers. They are so cute. I love them so much. Whatever is going to make this resonate with you, go that route. If you need to make it fun, make it fun. If you need it to be serious and you need it to be really focused, then do that. Whatever is going to work for you. Last month I had this example of affirmations from this July page, and I liked it a lot, and it really spoke to me since something that I'm trying to invite in for October is positivity and being present. And so I decided to do affirmations for my October intention. So spiritual health, I slow down and create space for mindfulness. Personal life, I set aside time for myself each day because I am worthy of rest and replenishment. Physical health, I love and respect my body exactly as it is each day. Key relationships, I share my gratitude with others and give them what I can when I can. Money management, I am intentional with my spending and consider my wants and needs. And professional goals, I do my best to see the opportunity and change while holding space for things that may be hard. And then I have these fun little graphics from the Silk and Sonder Instagram page as well. So if you need a little bit of additional inspiration, we've got a little what's in and out for fall. So what's out is numbing your feelings, and what's in is feeling your feelings. What's out is limiting yourself, and what's in is dreaming big. And then you've got another kind of example of some intentions here. So I will cycle through all of these examples. I was telling Jennifer, at the start of this that I may actually finally have too many examples, but you all have such good ones and you share them and we love to see them. And so as a result, we just have a lot to share with you all. So I'll put on some music. Let us know how you're deciding to tackle your intentions. You never know who might need a little boost of inspiration, and then we'll move into our next page. Hopefully, you've got some good intention set, or at least you're thinking about it. It is totally okay to just let things marinate and come back to it later if that's what you need. We are now going to move into our trackers, our mood and habit trackers. When I was first getting started with the journals, these were some of my favorite pages because they really helped me to build consistency. I also really loved all the journal prompts. Those two things really kept me coming back month after month until I was able to really build a routine around this. So we're going to start with the mood tracker, which is on page 10. A mood tracker can allow us to understand trends and how we're feeling, and then hopefully kind of take notice and begin making shifts and hopefully invite in different things in our environment and our habits that will bring up more positive moods to show up. So there are two different formats that you'll see pop up in the journal as far as the mood tracker goes. Some of them are like the wheel, which is the design that we have this month, and then the other ones are the hexagon. And we definitely have like a team wheel slash team hexagon thing that happens with Silk and Sonder. Some people really have a preference between one or the other. I personally am just team mood tracker. I'm just happy that it is there for me each and every month, but I know that a lot of folks have one shape or the other that they feel like really lends well to how they like to use this. So if you are somebody that leans for one way or the other, don't worry, your preferred design will make its way back around. So for setting up the mood tracker, this is something that gets repurposed a lot, and we'll talk about that in a second. And it's not because tracking moods is not beneficial, because it absolutely is, but it's because this is a whole page in your journal. It's a lot of real estate, and it's perfectly set up to track just about anything that you need it to. So if a mood tracker doesn't speak to you, don't panic. We're going to have some other ideas of what might be a good idea for you instead. But if you are going to set it up as a mood tracker, you could decide to choose just a couple of like tougher feelings, maybe one neutral and a few positive feelings to track. You could focus in on opportunity and what kind of feelings that might bring up for you if you want to track on that focus. And then the way that you fill this out is totally up to you. Some folks will fill it in multiple times a day. Some folks will pick one time a day that they want to fill it in for consistency. No matter what you decide to do, you can decide to fill in every emotion or just whatever was the strongest. And as always, you can fill out with just a single pen, make it nice and simple, or you can have fun, use stickers, doodles, whatever is going to make this something you want to return to on a consistent basis. Katura had shared that they like to count up each feeling and kind of write the number of times they felt that way at the end of the month. And I like to share that because I think sometimes we get to the end of the month and we're just so excited for the next one that we forget to really go back and reflect on the progress or the tracking that we did in the last month. So this is our feelings wheel, and I'll come back to this in a moment, but essentially we have our 6 main feeling categories here: fear, love, joy, anger, sadness, and surprise. And then those get broken out into more feelings in the same categories here, just in case you need inspiration if one of those broader ones is not quite feeling right. And feel free to add feelings to this too. I know that I don't think meh is on this wheel, but I know that meh is a very popular feeling. So if the right feeling isn't here, pick whatever resonates with you. Again, your journal. I love both of these examples because they are showing not only consistent tracking, but also I know the one on the right, on the days where they had really positive days, they tried to make a little bit of a note on what might have happened that day that helped bring that positivity so that they could kind of reflect back. And then on the left here, being able to kind of track that anxious feeling allowed her to have some balance when she was kind of reflecting back, because she had a tough day here on the 30th and kind of felt like, oh my gosh, my anxiety is spiraling out of control. I don't know what's happening. But instead, when she came to track on her journal, she realized, like, oh, actually, my anxiety for the most part has been pretty manageable this month. I'm just having a really tough day. So sometimes having that mood tracker can help us to get that perspective when we need it the most. I love this from Katie. So she said that she kind of tracks hers like bubbles from the inside out, where they get complex and have different shades throughout the day. So like the bigger the feeling, the bigger the bubble, if you will. That can be a creative way to track multiple feelings and kind of get a sense of what was the prevailing feeling of the day. But I also really love using smiley faces, like when you go to the doctor and they show you like the pain scale, right? It's like, how bad does your heart hurt today? So I love using like stickers and faces, but anytime that you can make this work for you, that's what is most important. Whatever is going to allow you to track consistently, that's where I would put my focus. So if it is just a single pin, but that doesn't feel fun enough, you could try to do some different symbols, but there's also nothing wrong with just writing out the feeling. Just writing it in. You don't even have to use this legend at the top if you feel like that's going to box you in. Tracking consistently is the most important thing. But as I mentioned, a lot of people do like to repurpose this. So some ways that we have seen these repurposed is folks like to use it as their daily affirmation tracker. Did they do their affirmation? Did they write it down? I personally used it to track anxiety levels for a very long time. And this is a page that I tried a lot of things with. And I struggled to come back to it consistently until I figured out that anxiety tracker. Once I did that, I tracked consistently, and oh my gosh, I mean, it in a lot of ways, it kind of changed my life. I don't think at this point that that's an exaggeration for me to say. So if you have something like anxiety or depression that you need to keep an eye on, I highly recommend. Energy levels, I've tried tracking that before as well. Or if you're somebody that you're feeling like, I just feel so angry all the time, or I just feel so frustrated, there's a lot of things happening in life these days. And I think it's understandable to feel that way, but maybe you really want to focus in on it and see if there's anything that's causing that particular feeling and just focus on a scale of 1 to 6, how often you're feeling that or how intensely you're feeling that one feeling. So this is an old anxiety tracker of mine, so you can kind of see how I used to track that if that speaks to you. But I really like this tracker on the right-hand side where they are not just tracking their stress level, but they're actually tracking some of the like physical manifestations that come with it. Because one, that helps to kind of tie in your brain and your body together, which is so important when you are battling anxiety, but also can help you to notice when things are starting to get stressful before you even feel the stress. So I think that that is a great tie-in. You could go a totally different direction and make it a spending tracker, workout tracker, self-care tracker. I know that I've seen some people use it for like counting their steps. And I really like this rate the day. So on here in the bottom left, they are just rating their day on a scale of 1 to 6, how great they felt the day was. If you are wanting to get started with this but don't know where to start and you're feeling overwhelmed, I would highly recommend just rating your day and kind of going from there. You've got a book tracker, a mood boost tracker, which is a great way to think of looking at this. An exercise tracker in a different way. This is super cute with the mittens. Obviously, it was from like New Year's, but I think obviously with us getting into October, you could definitely do like little pumpkin faces if you were looking to kind of get into the season currently. And then you've got some different energy levels there on the right as well. I have been using this as a replenishment tracker the last several months for myself. I'm at a place where thankfully I don't need to track my anxiety anymore, at least not currently. I know I can always go back to that if I need it, but this is just me carving out time for me and trying to make sure that I am putting focus on activities that I know kind of fill my cup up and that I'm making time for. So I'm going to keep doing that because I've really enjoyed it. And it's helped me to see where I am enjoying spending most of my time. And it's kind of interesting because, like, as the season starts to change, the activities I kind of lean into also change. So we'll see how it goes as the year goes on. And I love these little reminders here from the Instagram. Oop, one too far. So I will go through all of these examples for you while you work on yours, and I'll be sure to pause on that feelings tracker for you as well. Let us know what you're deciding to track. If you're tracking feelings, what feelings and moods are you tracking? If you are doing something totally different, let us know. Like I said, we always love seeing how you make this work for you. So you guessed it. We are flipping over to the next page to our habit tracker. So using our habit tracker can help us start new habits, stop doing habits that don't serve us, and continue habits that bring value. And I want to remind you all, it is not a habit to-do list. It is a habit tracker. The reason this slide says it can help us stop doing habits that don't serve us is not just because you can set up a to don't habit, because you can, like I'm going to not bite my nails, for example, but also sometimes seeing the habits that we avoid help us to dig in and think about if it's actually something we're ready to focus on. Not is it something we should do, but is it something we want to do and is it something we're ready for? So when you're picking your habits this month, again, you can lean into opportunity as your focus or pick a different theme like grounded, calm, joy, delight. Think if there is a particular feeling you want to invite in, especially if you aren't tracking moods, maybe there is a particular mood you want to invoke with this tracker here. If you've got habits that are working from you for last month, continue them this month. If you're establishing new ones, try to find a balance between habits you know you can do and ones that are going to be trickier. If you fill up your whole plate with challenges, it's going to be tough. And sometimes if it is hard and then you don't really get a good start, it can become really defeating. So make sure you give yourself a little bit of some of those easy wins, if you will. And remember, you do not have to fill in every line. So just because there are 7 lines there does not mean you have to have 7 habits. You can have 1 habit to start with and then next month move to 2, or maybe there's just 3, right? You don't have to fill in every line. So here are some great examples. I love these pretty colors, but I want to draw attention to one, remember this is not a bingo and a coverall is not the only way to win. 2, I love that this person actually wrote on their tracker, "Eek, COVID got me," because when you get sick, y'all, please just take care of yourself. You got to let a few things go, give yourself a little bit of grace. Don't be afraid to just write it on that tracker of like, yeah, I didn't do my habits because I was sick, right? Give yourself that grace and make sure you notate it. And then this one on the right, I absolutely love that at the end of the month, they went in and they calculated what percentage they had with these habits. I have not seen that before, and I think it's really insightful. I think I want to try to do that with mine at the end of the month this month for sure. Here are some other habit tracker examples and ideas. You could do lines, you could do stickers. The one on the far right decided to track how well they did the habit. So like on a scale of 1 to 5, or sorry, 0 to 5, how well did they do the habit that day? I think I saw either in Sonder Club or maybe it was in another social, somebody was doing red, yellow, and green of how well they did their habit too, almost like a stoplight. So you could also look into that. These are my habit trackers. So the one on the left is my one from last month, and the one on the right is mine for this month. So I love to use the stickers, but for me, I take my journal everywhere. And so it's not always feasible for me to stop and put little stickers on it when I'm trying to like quickly track at work. So usually what I do is I just put a dot with a pen to track, and then at the end of the week, I get to sit down and put all my stickers on, and it's like my little me time, and I love it. But also this month, I am going to actually kind of add my why of why I'm tracking that habit, right? I've got water for hydration, exercise for strength, medications for health, et cetera, et cetera. And you can also see, speaking of habits that you're not ready for, my nice little blank no social media habit. Yeah, that's because I didn't go a single day without social media last month. Clearly, I'm not ready to give that the focus just yet, and that is okay. We'll come back to her later. You can continue to track the same exact habits every month if you're really trying to build consistency. I also like this idea from Georgie where they set 3 daily goals and then they kind of have 2 bonus goals. So that way they don't stress if they don't hit all of them because they know that like 2 of them are bonuses. And then lots of people like to block off the weekends on their tracker or whatever their off days are so that they can kind of see how that break in their routine impacts their ability to hit those habits. I know something I've noticed for me is my work from home day is Friday, and I have a really hard time getting all my water in. We've got some more fun examples here for you as well, and different ways that you can connect this into your journal in the other pages, like the weekly tracker, the health plan, and don't be afraid to make it fun. Obviously, that's Christmas themed, but hopefully it inspires you to do something a little fun with yours if that speaks to you. And we do have a bingo this month on page 21. So if you want to invite a habit to check your bingo or try to check off a thing on your bingo, that's also something to consider. And maybe you can fill your bingo with some fun things and ideas. And then we have some more things for inspiration here. So I'll put on a quick song real quick because I know that we are at time. And then we'll wrap up. Thank you all for sharing in the chat what some of these habits are and what you're struggling with a little bit. It's always good for us to be able to support and encourage each other. But we have come to the end of our time. In fact, we went just a little bit over. I appreciate you all hanging out with us just a little bit longer. If you feel comfortable sharing your planner and Sonder Club, we would love to see it. All of the examples, with the exception of the ones that came out of my planner, absolutely came from Sonder Club. So we would love to see those. And speaking of your planner, there is actually like a really great sale going on right now that Meha had shared in Soccer Club the other day. So just be sure to check that out if you haven't already. They've got some stickers and things on there, so it's worth giving it a look. And then, as always, we're doing our Refer a Friend program. If you are able to upgrade to an annual subscription, it could save you some cash. Please fill out the survey. Let us know what you think. Jennifer is dropping all of these links in the chat right now, including the YouTube link where the recording of this social will be up in just a few days, as well as most of our other socials. You can visit it anytime that you can't make it or need to go back and replay something. And I will share the link to the playlist that we all had tonight in the chat. You are welcome to look it up, listen to it, pull songs from it, make your own playlist, whatever you need for your journal. As always, it was our sincere pleasure to be here with all of you this evening. Thank you so much for joining us and spending this time on you. Until next time, be good to each other, and we'll see you all in Sonder Club.
skin is glowing, my energy is flowing, confidence